Welcome, everybody, to the Channel Vision Magazine webinar with Lightspeed Voice, which asks the question, are you ready for a different kind of channel partnership? I'm your moderator, Bruce Christian, Senior Editor at Channel Vision Magazine. Our Lightspeed Voice presenters today are Doug Paul, Director of Channel Sales, and Steve Moore, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Welcome to you both.
Thank you for having us, Bruce.
Absolutely. And with that, I'd like to start with just a couple of questions. First, what is the advantage of partnering with Lightspeed Voice?
Great. I'll take that, Steve, if you don't mind. So the biggest advantage is that we're looking, our history brings us into this from a partner perspective. We were you in an earlier life before we became a CLEC. And we bring a unique perspective to that. So the advantages that we bring are all about focus on the partner and their success, and therefore we succeed. And your ability to really add revenue to the bottom line of your business while focusing on your core competencies and not taking away or distracting from those core competencies.
Yeah, just to kind of add on to that, we do really play an active role in the partnership. We're not just a, sign up and good luck on your endeavors. We really are engaged throughout the process. And Doug, as a great resource, is happy to jump in and work on deals, work on relationships, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, we are a true partner in those terms, and we're not just looking for numbers. We want those long-term relationships.
I would say the key thing is the relationship, as Steve said.
All right. Well, can you then describe what you think your strategic advantage is in this space?
Okay. I think the biggest thing is the infrastructure in which we have built Lightspeed Voice, that we bring some unique advantages from that infrastructure. We own all of our data centers outright. We're spinning up non-tenant-based solutions for customers that allow greater security from a CIO perspective and allows us to provide deeper, better services to the end user that allows them to take advantage of the voice system, and not only the voice system, but other systems that they work with on the back end. Things like Salesforce, Acumatica, HubSpot, and we're kicking off automated workflow processes at the phone call that is putting significant revenue to the bottom line of the end user company. Therefore, solidifying the relationship between the partner and their customer.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just another point on that is we are, we own our own infrastructure, manage it, support it, all that good stuff. And we are actually based in Southwest Florida. That's our developers, our support team, the whole gambit is down here. And as folks get onboarded and our customers, when they call and have a problem, we have folks here in Florida that'll answer the phone and help them out. We don't outsource any of that support or onboarding. So it's a huge plus for end users.
Great. So what is Lightspeed's core belief about partnerships?
I'll start, Steve. It's you before me. So we have this driving customer-focused, partner-focused goal at Lightspeed Voice. It's what built our company. Your satisfaction is key and utmost to us. So it literally, we kind of look at it this way. If there's the trilogy of things, right? Lightspeed Voice, the partner, and the customer. If each one of those folks are focused on the success of each other, there's no way that we can fail, right? So it boils down to, and backed up by things like an ironclad guarantee. We literally put our money where our mouth is, and we have things that allow flexibility within terms. So flexibility for the customer, looking for them to succeed. And we back that up with a white glove service policy, which basically means we will do just about anything to ensure, physically possible to ensure that the customer is satisfied, things are working, and they're meeting and exceeding expectations.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead now and describe your product and your partnerships?
Okay, outstanding. If you don't mind, I'll share the screen here for a second. And just going to jump into a little bit about Lightspeed Voice, right? So we're more than a partnership. And as I mentioned, our history, we started out as an IT services, managed services provider in the marketplace, just like all of our guests today. And one of the things that we found was we came across the need for people to have voice services, which we started developing voice communications back in '06. That led us to develop our PBX or Prism PBX at the time. And that expanded into day-to-day business relationships, mostly in the insurance, financial, and health services side. And after our product was tried and true as a national service provider, we expanded out to any business that's out there. There's not a vertical we haven't touched. Today, we lead the industry in terms of integration and back-end solutions, customer satisfaction, and quality. So that gives us a good background of where we came from. As it relates to the partnerships, our program is built on that experience that we had as a partner. So we know the ins and outs of having a partnership relationship, and we've applied those lessons to how we're managing and working with the partners moving forward. We learned a lot back in those days, and we're applying that kind of experience to our program going forward. Again, it's you before me at Lightspeed Voice. Our customer service is bar none. We achieve a 98% satisfied customer base on a day-to-day basis. We have sustained growth. We bring a ton of experience to the table with not only our technical expertise, our development expertise, our engineering expertise, and our service and support capabilities. It's all US based, all people who truly care. One of the reasons why I chose to work for Lightspeed Voice, I come from Cisco and Intercom in the past, and chose to work here because of that infrastructure and the technical expertise that the company sustains and maintains in their employees. People who really care, and that's shown us and proven to deliver some pretty outstanding results. As you can see, some Google ratings that are extremely high. It's a small team that gets to know you. Our average on response time from a call in terms of support is under 2 minutes, under 15 minutes when it's emailed to us, and our resolution is under 8 minutes, which is huge in this industry. Again, it's all US based, people who will hold your hand through the process to make things work. Our internal call center is located right here in Florida. And again, that 98% customer satisfied base is something we really hang our hat on. We think we're kind of doing some things that are right moving forward. So what allows us to do that really is our technology. As we mentioned before, we own geo-redundant data centers. We have 2 of them, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. We have a number of strands of fiber between them. We're spinning up tenant-based solutions that are custom-built solutions for each and every customer, whether you're 3 users or 1,000, right? And it's the whole network is built on reliable Cisco core routing, and we own that infrastructure. That means if you call for support, we literally can turn and lay hands on your server, as opposed to you call for support, we issue you a ticket, we turn and call and get a ticket issued to us by somebody else who's hosting our services. This provides real peace of mind to the CIO making a decision in their environment as it relates to voice, because it is data nowadays, right? So I think that's a strategic advantage, and it allows us to do great things like deep integrations to these kinds of software, right? Acumatica as an ERP, Salesforce, HubSpot. It truly is two-way data exchange in a lot of these integrations, and provides a significant savings in time, employee time, which is a customer's greatest expense that we put directly to their bottom line. And I think those are big reasons as to why we're succeeding. If you have an open API or it's API based, we're 90% there in terms of being integrated to your software already. The question is, it's not a matter of whether or not we can. We certainly can with our expertise within Lightspeed Voice. The question is, does the manufacturer of that software allow it, right? Do they have a connector, or do they limit their API, or does the customer have to purchase additional modules to allow for that integration to be successful? So the big thing that all that means to the channel partner is it's got a great revenue source and great revenue potential. Again, keeping their focus on their core competencies. And in the partner program, we're really looking for those people who can have that consultative conversation with the customer to get them out of dial tone. And, you know, when I dial 10 digits, I talk to somebody. When the phone rings, I pick it up, I'm speaking to somebody. It's way deeper than that. And from that point, it's without cost. So you can get involved with us, work with us, and provide these kinds of meaningful solutions to your customers as it relates to your voice without sending out 3 people to become a system engineer, putting up front costs for hardware expense, or just paying a fee to become a partner. So I think those are some great advantages as well. So with that said, why us? Really highly skilled people that care about the customer, the partner, and their success before our own. You become a part of the family, not just a reseller at Lightspeed Voice. And we have flexible technology solutions that customers can really mold their business to. In other words, gone are the days that you're going to change how you do business because the voice system has these capabilities. It's moreover, the voice system will adapt to your workflow process. And I think that's why Lightspeed Voice provides a strategic advantage.
Okay, thank you. Before we get to any remaining questions, I see that up there on the screen there, but would you like to tell us as well how attendees can reach you?
Oh, absolutely. Let me jump back to that. This is how you can get in touch with Lightspeed Voice or myself. Ultimately, would love to have a conversation with you regarding what you're looking to accomplish, how we can help your business, and see if it's a fit. Make sure you understand the ins and outs of our program. And once you do, you can make a decision or have enough information to make an informed decision to take the next step with us, or we part as friends.
All right, let's get into some questions. What do you think your partners would say about their relationship with you?
Steve, you want to?
Yeah, no, I think I'm probably the best one because I'll just be bragging on Doug the whole time. But yeah, no, I think, you know, the biggest thing with the relationship is just how deeply we are involved with each deal, right? So we're looking to cater to end users and partners. So Doug becomes part of the conversation during the sales process, and then as things are handed off and people do become customers, we have a dedicated onboarding team that will work directly with the end user, you know, throughout that process. So we're not relying on, you know, the partner as much once that sale occurs. So we're just engaged. We are that true, you know, redundant but partner that's working through all the issues. So that's the bottom line. So it's kind of corny, but it's a family atmosphere within the company. And certainly within the partners, you know, we're not looking to sign up hundreds of partners and get a deal per year from each person. We want to have people that are actively involved and engaged with us and the end users. So that's hopefully helps there a little bit. I don't know, Doug, if you have anything you want to.
Yeah, I think we have conversations that are outside of the technology, right, with our partners. Like, I spend a lot of time. I had a particular partner give me a call and said, "Look, I'm having some difficulty justifying ROI because they had people selling, basically the dial tone, and the phone rings, right, at a very low price." And we talked about how that particular company had 5 locations, had 5 different voice systems in across the company. And it, on average, was costing that company over $200 to process an invoice. So completely outside of the voice system, we were putting, if they just selected one, not even us, you could put $800 to their bottom line monthly. So we have those types of conversations. We have conversations about how do I, get into the door at a customer site? How do I use this as a tool to help me sell all of my other services within the environment? We have that experience. And again, we're about doing all we can to help you succeed.
Okay.
So,
Well,
Yeah, I'll just
go
hit
ahead.
real quick. There was a question that came through just about adaptive technology and how important that is to our business. And I'm going to assume that's with regards to the integrations with an Acumatica or a Salesforce. And I would say they're very critical, right? So this is a very crowded space. There's tons of monster VoIP solutions out there and that are doing a ton of numbers, but the customization, integration is, what we look as a big differentiator for us on top of that infrastructure advantage. So yeah, those items right now, if folks are familiar with Acumatica, we're the only approved certified phone provider within Acumatica right now. Salesforce, and we're fairly large within the insurance industry, and a lot of those companies were in the insurance space. So yeah, it's those partnering technologies are very important for us. So
yeah, if you take a look at the screen, I've jumped into Acumatica. This is a version of Acumatica, and literally this is what we're talking about, where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. Asked me to log back in, which takes just a second. Anyhow, what it does is it allows us to take the call and automate the time in which a customer logs a call or recants that conversation. So if we take a look at just human interaction, if we're not seeing each other, we're retaining about 35% of a conversation, right? And now, after a conversation, you're going to ask me to go back into whatever tool I'm using, let's say Acumatica, and try to type in the notes from that conversation. We're putting in a link to the call recording automated in the process, and I can live demo this across the board. And not only does it pull from like a customer record, as you see here, you have a couple of numbers here. I can pull from contacts. So when I talk about integration, I don't mean a screen pop, although it will pop the screen. The issue is deep two-way data exchange, where we're moving data in and out of the 2 separate systems, right? So if I go into this particular contact, I can literally just right-click that and call with Lightspeed Voice. You can hear my phone ringing, and in a second, as it calls, that's actually it's calling my cell phone, right? Mailbox. And in a second, it will answer the call. I talk on the call. I've disconnected the call, by the way, and I can go into those activities, and there sits the outbound call, right? And I could literally click on this, and I have a link directly to that call, right? So what does that say? Anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes per person per call per day times their burden rate is huge return on investment for that customer, as an example. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the great thing is too, if there's ever any questions as far as maybe it was an order that was replaced or placed, and there's some question about what was ordered or not, or quality control on staff, all that kind of good stuff, all those calls are in the system of record, which is huge.
Okay. Steve, you had mentioned differentiation a little bit ago. So can you tell us what makes Lightspeed Voice different from others in the VoIP space?
Yeah, so it's really that that personalized service, the single tenant situation where we're not sitting on a AWS or any cloud-based solution that can have problems independent of ours, right? So we're in control of everything from a infrastructure standpoint. We support the whole deal, and what we'd like to do as well is just take a few minutes and actually run through the product. And I think that'll help understand. And there was a question that actually came through that mentioned CRM, and we can go two ways, and this will probably shelf it for a deeper discussion. Our core product is the phone solution, which Doug is going to show here briefly, and that integrates well with the CRM, Salesforce, HubSpot, if whatever you need to do there. We do actually offer a sales automation. I kind of come short of saying it's a full CRM just because of some of the assumptions that people use with the CRM, but you can offer with our product automated phone calls, emails, and text messages. So we won't touch a bunch on that today, but we do have that available. But I think maybe what would be great right now is just take about 10 minutes and have Doug kind of run through and at least show you what we've got from a product standpoint, if that makes sense.
Sure. And just to answer the question in reference to our secure the services are, don't understand exactly what you're referring to, but if you're thinking about encryption, et cetera, it's 256. I hope that helps with that particular question. So in general, our phone system Connect, a Lightspeed Voice Connect, this is what you're looking at here, has a panel where one single panel in which you have access to everything, either as an administrator or as an end user. So you can see over to the right, I have a sidebar panel where I can look at everybody. And to give you an idea, in a live environment, this is us live, I see everybody across the country with Lightspeed Voice, right? And I can look at them, whether they're on the phone, not on the phone, at an instant, know what their status is. You can see I'm in a meeting, right? So as I go through those types of this particular sidebar panel, if I wanted to see more, I can simply fly this out. And we've got really cool things that I can do in reference to making a phone call or receiving a phone call. There's drag and drop on the call when a call comes live. In this particular demo panel that I have up, when a call comes in, I can actually drag and drop a call to transfer. I can just use my phone if I have people who are more quote unquote old school in the environment. It works hand in hand with each other across the board. Also within that panel, that fly out, I have access to voicemail, standard things that you see in all service offerings, call history, and the ability to send and receive faxes. We even have messaging capabilities in instantly. Your default is your dashboard. I can take a look at all sorts of information and key metrics right in front of me on a day-to-day basis, whether I'm a manager or an end user. And what's important about that is that people can actually see their performance on a day-to-day basis. I can click on it. We give you the minutia of that data. And we also give you a 50,000-foot view for that manager, where they can literally just take a look at Chris's performance, and up instantly pops all this information regarding the call, whether it's inbound or outbound. And there sits the link to the call recording. So things like listen, whisper, and barge, take over, those listening types of services have shown to add or cut ramp up time for companies by 50%. That's significant savings. And our call recordings are not limited, right? We typically, they're only limited by the drive size on the server. And typically we tell people 3 to 5 years. And then it's first on, first off on the database side. We also adjust those settings as need arises. So we have a customer who's been with us since 2013, has 150 users, 14 inbound 800 numbers, and they're at 80% capacity in their server as an example. So conservatively speaking, 3 to 5 years in terms of call recording. So all those features are included. You have all these metrics that you can take a look at employee performance on a day-to-day basis. You have user status history. We even break that down by the hour. When do I need to have people staffed up and ramped up? When are calls coming in? When am I busy? When am I not busy? Those types of things. You can, all sorts of metrics here that you can sort by and find information. And you can find specific calls and get directly to that call recording here. In terms of the CRM and integration, that's where you can find these calls stacked right here across the board, not only in underneath the contact of the individual, but you can also find it in the general information in its activities, which is listed here. So it's automatically embedding that in two-way information. So if I had an initial call that wasn't a customer, not in my CRM, and it pops a blank screen, but I wanted to get to that call recording because the system won't know where to put it, I can go back into Quantum, look at my dashboard, grab my call history, and there sits the call. Make sense? And there's the call recording. I can download it. I can add it. It's very flexible right at the top of your fingertips. No going elsewhere, no extreme logins to manage or operate the system, including end user capabilities, right?
Okay. I have to ask Doug, what are your favorite features?
Oh, outstanding. Great question. There's so many, but we have the ability for mobile strategies, right? So that you can enact BYOD policies and still make the data secure and the relationship directly with the company. So for example, I use my personal cell phone on a day-to-day basis. We have a number of ways, including mobile apps and a thing we call DISA, which allows you to connect, receive, and make calls in and out just using your cell phone services, right? You don't need a mobile app to do that. But that provides an advantage, especially when people are truly mobile on the move. They can still make calls. It runs through the system. The call recordings are there and all the metrics are in place. And the cool thing is the end user employee can actually take a vacation. So they're not giving out their personal cell phone number, and they can literally work with the customer at any given time and distinguish between a personal and professional call. So it's unique. That's one of my favorites. I use it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Fantastic. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, so it's kind of two worlds, right? So Doug loves the mobility. I tend to love the reporting and the activity tracking, so I know what the team is doing at any given time. I don't know if you want to pop on like even just the leaderboard and the dashboard. So, you know, if I'm on calls all throughout the day and I just want to see, you know, hey, who's got what going on, I can very quickly right here just see who's on the calls the longest, who's making the most outbound, who's getting the most inbound calls. And just that visualization, you know, is going to make people not want to be either off of the leaderboard altogether or at the bottom of it, right? So it's just kind of that visual accountability from a leadership standpoint that's really good. And then I do just want to touch on, you know, depending on the business or industry, texting is obviously a growing thing. And Doug, if you just want to click real quick and we can just touch on the texting features as well.
Okay. We just got another question in about the privacy perspective. How customizable is visual accountability?
So as referring to, I think you're asking having some people be able to see some information or access some information while others cannot. I think that might be the question.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm correct, but we do have the ability in the management tool to go into particular phone settings and set up extension control and capabilities within the customer environment, right? So we can go in and you can assign whether, so for example, Steve can listen to my calls. I can't listen to his in that particular environment. So you can set it up in terms of groups, and you can provide access or limit access as you will by end user basis at an end user level.
Okay. Let me see. Lightspeed Voice has, you must hear a lot of feedback on your products and your partnership program. Can you share any of the positive feedback you get?
Yeah. First of all, they love to work with us, especially from a customer service perspective. So again, when I talk about the partners being able to focus on their core competencies, right? You're working on a network refresh or implementation for a customer of endpoint security. And you have customers in the same environment going, I would like my phone or my capabilities to have A, B, and C. They can literally just send us an email and or call us and have that resolved in under 8 minutes, in which case it doesn't distract you from that other project, right? And in doing so, we've received so much feedback from our interaction. It's very personable. People are excited to the nth level that we take that service and support. It is service and support that you can stake your reputation on via us, and we stake our reputation on it, and we get a ton of that kind of response and feedback from our customers. Again, 98% speaks for itself. I think the other area is in our integration and the capability, the functionality, dependability of the system in and of itself. Whereas other people were being affected by things that happened to networks, that happened to people naturally, hurricanes and others, we were still up and running, providing services. And in fact, during the last 2 hurricanes, provided an RCS service for our competition while they were down for weeks, providing people access to make calls and get connected to the outside world when they needed help the most. And so we're pretty proud of those types of things as well.
Okay. Steve, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered that real well. I did want to touch, and Doug will be the best person to talk on this. There was another question about how secure are the services. I'm the sales guy, so my answer would be very, but yeah, I figure Doug will be able to provide a little more just around the security we got.
Yeah, it's 256, your standard high-end military encryption. So if you're speaking of encryption. So there's a question about third-party software. So typically we're doing integrations directly with the manufacturer of the software. We work with other third-party software and have integrated with them. So Zapier as one. We've also worked with a third-party middleware for the car repair industry, which is one of the largest in the country. So literally at the moment you start working with Lightspeed Voice, anybody who turns a wrench on a car, 4-bay facility, 5-bay facility, that's using this particular software, which is over 50% of the marketplace, you have new customers you can go talk to about it. So if you refer to third-party software as like a middleware, we do it directly. It depends on the relationship that we're forging with not only the software, but for the customer. To give you an idea, we have 45 different enterprise features in the system you're looking at in front of you that our customers take, and it's all inclusive, right? So there's no like, we're going to piecemeal this together for you. You get it all. If you want to turn it on and use it, great. If not, here's how you turn this particular feature off. But the key is we've done a direct SQL database integration for one of our customers. Didn't want to do it. Our customer relationship was really strong with this particular customer. And we're moreover a challenge accepted company than it is a company who just flat out tells you no, right? We were able to do that. It's a very successful integration. But that said, when we run into opportunities to help a customer and they're working with a specific unique piece of software, we will talk to you about what we can do to help you facilitate integration to achieve some of these performance metrics that we're showing in other customer sites.
Okay.
Yeah, I think another critical piece there is ideally we always want to go through whatever certification or partner path the software has. We always go down that path as much as possible. But to Doug's point, if there's a system out there and there's an API, we can figure that out. If there's no API, we could figure things out. It just wouldn't be as deep of the integration. We can get the screen pop going with pretty much generically anything, but to actually get the node insertion with the call recording and stuff, we would definitely need an API from that other party. So,
yeah.
But that's a lot of what I do myself is really work with those other software partners to get those things up and running.
Yeah, I think one best way to describe it is there's not a piece of software we can't write to, right? It's whether or not the manufacturer of that software will allow it.
Okay.
Makes sense? So either it's a connector or an API that they build into the software. We have technical expertise to go grab a piece of software and write to it. Will that serve you long-term? No. That's why the relationships are important. We help facilitate that to ensure that customers are well taken care of going forward. And it's a technology that they can rely on long-term.
Okay, that's terrific. All right, I think that's going to wrap up today's presentation. Our thanks to Lightspeed Voice's Director of Channel Sales, Doug Paul, and Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Steve Moore. Thank you both.
Thank you,
Bruce.
Sure. But before we go, I want to remind you about our new Channel Vision Webinar Rewards Program. By attending this event, you automatically are enrolled in our incentive program. Just keep an eye out for our monthly prize drawings. For information on the Channel Vision Webinar Reward Program and to see what kinds of prizes you can win, visit our website, channelvisionmag.com/webinar rewards. And remember, you can access this webinar and all our other Channel Vision presentations on demand by visiting our website at channelvisionmag.com. And now, from all of us at Channel Vision Magazine, thank you for attending. Have a safe and prosperous day.